15th of May, the jungle of Newell.
In the heat of the day, in the cool of the pool.
He was splashing, enjoying the jungle's great joys, when Horton the elephant
heard a small noise. So, Horton stopped splashing.
He looked towards the sound.
That's funny, thought Horton. There's no one around.
But then he heard it again. Just a very faint yell.
as if some tiny person were calling for help.
I'll help you, cried Horton. But who are you? Where?
He looked and he looked. He could see nothing there.
But a small speck of dust blowing past through the air.
I say, murmured Horton, I've never heard tell of a small speck of dust that was able to yell. So you know what I think? Why, I think there must be someone on top of that small speck of dust. Some tiny creature of a very small size. Too small to be seen by my elephant's eyes. Some tiny person who's shaking in fear. He'll fall into the pool. He has no way to steer. Guess I'll have to save him, because, after all, a person's a person, no matter how small.
So gently, and using the greatest of care,
the elephant stretched his great trunk through the air.
And he lifted the dust speck and carried it over.
And he placed it down safe on a very soft clover.
Who's the voice?
'Twas a sour kangaroo.
and the young kangaroo in her pouch said,
Two. Why, that speck is as small as the head of a pin.
A person on that?
Why, there has never been.
Believe me, said Horton, I tell you sincerely, my ears are quite keen, and I've heard them quite clearly. I know there's a person down there, and what's more, quite likely there's two, even three, even four. Quite likely a family for all that we know, a family with children that's just starting to grow. So please, asked Horton, as a favor to me, try not to disturb them. Just let them be.
I think you're a fool, laughed the sour kangaroo.
And the young kangaroo in her pouch said, Me too.
You're the biggest blamed fool in the jungle of Newell.
And the kangaroos plunged into the cool of the pool.
Splash!
What terrible splashing, the elephant frowned. I can't let my very small persons get drowned. I've got to protect them. I'm bigger than they.
So he plucked up the clover and hustled away.
Through the high jungle treetops, the news quickly spread.
He talks to a dust speck.
He's out of his head. Just look at him walk with that speck on that flower.
And Horton walked, worrying, almost an hour.
Should I put the speck down, Horton thought with alarm. If I do, my small persons could come to great harm. I can't put it down. I won't, after all. A person's a person, no matter how small.
Then Horton stopped walking.
The speck voice was talking.
The voice was so faint he could just barely hear it.
Speak up, please, said Horton, and he put his ear near it.
My friend,
Came the voice.
you're a very fine friend. You've helped all us folk on this dust speck no end. You've saved all our houses, our ceilings and floors. You've saved all our churches and grocery stores.
You mean, Horton gasped? You have buildings there too?
Why, yes,
Piped the voice.
we most certainly do. I know,
Called the voice.
I'm too small to be seen, but I'm mayor of a town that is friendly and clean. Our buildings to you would seem terribly small, but to us who aren't big, well, they're wonderfully tall. My town is called Whoville, for I am a Who, and we Whos are all thankful and grateful to you.
And Horton called back to the mayor of the town.
Don't worry, I got you. I won't let you down.
But just as he spoke to the mayor of the speck, four big jungle monkeys climbed up Horton's neck.
The Wickersham brothers came shouting.
But Rock, this elephant's talking to who's who are not. There aren't any who's.
They don't have a mayor. We're gonna solve this nonsense.
So there.
They snatched Horton's clover, they carried it off.
To a black-bottomed eagle named Vladikoff.
A mighty strong eagle, a very swift wing.
And they said,
Will you kindly get rid of this thing?
And before the poor elephant could even speak, that eagle flew off with the flower in its beak.
All that late afternoon, far into the night,
That black-bottomed bird flapped his wings in fast flight.
While Horton chased after with groans over stones
That tattered his toenails and battered his bones.
And begged, please no harm on my little folk who have as much right to live as us bigger folk do.
But far, far beyond him, that eagle kept flapping. And over his shoulder called back, quit your yapping. I'll fly that I threw. I'm a bird, I don't mind it. And I'll hide this tomorrow where never you'll find it.
and at 6:56, the next morning, he did it.
It sure was a terrible place that he hid it.
He let that small clover drop somewhere inside.
Of a great patch of clovers,
100 miles wide.
Find that, sneered the bird, but I think you will fail.
And he left with a flip.
Black bottom.
I'll find her, cried Horton. I'll find her bust. Oh no. I must find my friend to my small speck of dust.
So clover, with care.
he picked up and searched them and called,
Are you there?
But clover by clover he found
That the one that he sought for was just not around.
And by noon, poor old Horton, more dead than alive.
had picked, searched, and piled up 9,005.
Then on through the afternoon, hour after hour, till he found them at last.
On the 3 million flower.
My friends, Horton called. Tell me, do tell. Are you safe? Are you sound? Are you whole? Are you well?
From down on the Speck came the voice of the mayor.
we've really had trouble, much more than our share. When that black-bottom birdie let go and we dropped, we landed so hard that our clocks had all stopped. Our teapots are broken, our rocking chairs are smashed. All the bicycle tires blew up when we crashed. So Horton, please,
Pleaded that voice of the mayor's.
will you stick by us who's when we're making repairs?
Of course, answered Horton. Of course I will stick. I will stick by you small folk through thin and through thick.
For 2 whole days, you run wild and insist on talking to persons who've never existed. Such carry-ons in our peaceable jungle. We've had quite enough of your bellowing bungle, and I am here to state
Snapped up, big kangaroo.
that your silly, nonsensical game is all through.
And Young Kangaroo in her pouch said, me too.
With the help of the Wickersham brothers and dozens of Wickersham uncles and Wickersham cousins and Wickersham in-laws whose help I've engaged, you're going to be roped and you're going to be caged. And as for that dust speck, that we shall boil in a hot steaming kettle of hazelnut oil.
Boil it, gasped Horton. Oh, that you can't do. There are persons down there. They'll prove it to you. Mr. Mayor, Horton called. Mr. Mayor, you've got to prove that you really are there. So call a big meeting. Get everyone out. Make every who holler. Make every who shout. Make every who scream. If you don't, every who is going to end up in a hazelnut stew.
And down on the dust speck, that scared little mayor.
Mick called a big meeting in Whoville Town Square.
And his people cried loudly.
They cried out in fear.
We are here,
we are here, we are here.
The elephant smiled.
That was clear as a bell. You kangaroo surely heard that very well.
All I heard was the breeze and the faint sound of wind through the far distant trees. I heard no small voices, and you didn't either.
And Young Kangaroo in her pouch said, me neither.
Grab him!
They shouted.
And cage the big door!
Let's sue his stomach with 10 miles of rope. Tie the knots tight so he'll never shake loose.
Then dump that down speck and diesel that juice.
Horton fought back with great vigor and vim.
But the Wickersham gang was too many for him.
They beat him.
They mauled him.
They started to haul him into his cage.
But he managed to call back to the mayor.
Mr. Mayor, don't give up. I believe in you all. A person's a person, no matter how small. You very small persons will not have to die. Come on, yell louder. Try!
The mayor grabbed the tom-tom and started to smack it.
And all over Whoville they whooped up a racket.
They rattled to kettles.
They beat on press pants.
On garbage pail tops and old cranberry cans.
They blew a bazooka and
classic grade 2.
On clarinets, oompas, and poopas, and flutes.
Great gusts of loud racket rang high through the air.
They rattled and shook the whole sky.
And that mare called up through the howling mad hullabaloo.
Hey Horton, how's this? Is our sound coming through?
And Horton called back, I can hear you just fine, but the kangaroo's ears aren't as strong quite as mine. You've got to be louder. Are you sure all you boys are doing your best? Are you all making noise? Are you sure every who down in Whoville is working? Quick, run through your town. Is anyone shirking?
The mayor rushed the town from the east to the west, but everyone seemed to be doing their best.
Everyone seemed to be yapping or yipping.
Everyone seemed to be beeping or bipping, but it wasn't enough, all this ruckus and roar.
He had to find someone to help him make more. He searched through his building, he searched floor to floor.
And just as he felt he was getting nowhere,
And almost about to give up in despair,
He suddenly burst through a door in that mare. Discovered what Sugar right in the way.
in the Fairfax apartment, apartment 12J.
A very small shirker named Jojo.
Was standing, just standing, bouncing a yo-yo.
Not making a sound.
Not a yip, not a chirp.
So the mayor rushed inside and grabbed the young twerp and climbed with the ladder to the Edinburgh Tower. This
cried the mayor.
is our town's darkest hour. Time for all who have blood that is red to come to the aid of our country.
He said,
We have to make noise in greater amounts, so open your mouth, lad. Every voice counts.
thus they spoke as he climbed. When they got to the top,
The lad cleared his throat and shouted out,
We are here, we are here, we are here. We are here, we